Welcome back, class, to another live stream of Animation Collab, where I experiment with new techniques in my animation laboratory in collaboration with other content creators. I'm going to continue the collaboration with Andy from Attack, Detect, Defend, a YouTube channel that deals with cybersecurity and how to prevent and understand hacking attacks, which is also the animation I'm working on. It deals with the MITRE attack framework, which is I guess kind of a system of how an attacker would try and get into a system. And yeah, so we're going to continue that animation. We've been at it for about a year. I'm very excited to get going and maybe finally actually complete this. This is quite a long video. It's around 8 minutes long, which is why it's taking so long to animate it. And also because obviously I don't animate it every day. We're doing these live streams every 2 weeks now. Previously it was once a week, so it'll probably slow down a little bit with the reduced schedule. But I hope you're having fun watching me animate this. If you have any questions for me as a motion designer, about this project, about animation or After Effects in general, do drop them in the chat. I am monitoring the chat, and if you're watching this as a replay, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. You do not have to watch any of the previous episodes of this collaboration. Every episode is kind of a standalone, but if you do get a hankering to to catch up on any of the replays, they are available on my Twitch and my YouTube channel. So let's get into it. Also, if you're experiencing any lag, any freezing, or any bad sound quality, do let me know as well, and I'll try my best to fix it. So, let's jump in. Let me switch the frame, and we're operating at slightly too large. Where is my After Effects? Alright. There we go. Now we are where we should be. Okay, so this is the animation that we did last time. Let's just play that back now. I think that's great, actually. Let me turn on my headphones so that I can actually hear the voiceover, and I'll also give you the opportunity to listen in.
Or perhaps rely on...
That's coming out of the speakers. Give me a second. Okay, oops, wrong window. But you're not able to hear the sound. That's weird. How about
innocent user into
now? Okay, good.
Or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that, or perhaps relied on tricking.
Okay, so let's see how I decided to do this in the end. Hello, Zaid. You have a problem, you say. Is this to do with the stream? So I'm not using the essential property scale, but instead using the regular scale. And that should mean that right now it's either blurry or the lines are not the same. I think the line thickness isn't the same. But I hope it's not a big deal because I really can't do this differently. I did try and use the essential property scale and it was just breaking with the time remapping, so I'm just gonna have to use it like this. Okay, so we've got this part going, and then we've got the persistence going. So let's have another look at this part as well.
Be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So, a common next step is to then establish a more reliable.
I think I want this to finish just before it moves to the side. So just before execution. So I think I want this to happen slightly earlier. So let's see. So it should be something like this.
Be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So, a common
It maybe just comes out a little earlier as well. Maybe I just want this to happen just slightly earlier. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's probably better. Let's have another look at that.
Applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious execution.
And I think this can be just a tad later. So maybe at this stage.
Be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So, a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence.
And this needs to be...
Method of be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So, a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that can be applied. The next obvious step is a more reliable method of persistence, so that the method of persistence.
Okay, now I need to check what we have in the storyboard. So we've got our persistence here, so that they can retain access even if one gets discovered and cleaned up. So now we've got these like holes popping up and the line going from left to right. So I'll just close these.
Persistence. So that
And this needs to go until this line through a combination of various techniques.
System at a later date. More advanced.
Hmm.
Next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that it's easier to run code again or regain access to a compromised system at a later date.
Compromise system at a later date. Hmm.
Or regain access to a compromised system at a later date. More advanced attackers are likely to configure multiple different methods of persistence so that they can retain access even if one gets discovered and cleaned up. Now an attacker has a reliable...
Oh dear. Oh dear, we are really behind. Like, there is so much text here. This is actually supposed to be here. Oh dear God. We have a lot of text to cover. Okay, so actually I think I need to push this way, way further down the line. Because this persistence sign shouldn't appear until more advanced attackers are likely to configure multiple different methods of persistence.
A more reliable method. So,
Common next steps.
a common next step is to then system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may involve a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on...
Oh, this line should be until here. Okay.
An innocent user into doing something they shouldn't.
So this is actually supposed to be here. Okay. I timed it all wrong. Now I have to move everything. uh... I'm going to add a time remapping to this, and that way I can just stretch the time however I want. I can maybe even have it play until here.
Some malicious code or targets into difficulty or use it into doing something they shouldn't. Use it into doing something they shouldn't.
Huh? Oh no. It was in the wrong place. Okay, let's watch this again.
The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So, a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that it's easier to run code again or regain access to a compromised simulator data. More advanced compromised system at a later date. More advanced attackers are
So more advanced attackers are likely to configure multiple different.
so a common step is to establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that it's easier to run code again or regain access to a compromised system at a later date. So that's easier to run code again or regain access.
So I think this should actually pop up at this point. So we'll need to reconfigure that again.
So that is to code again or regain access to context at a later date. More of that
Oh boy. Feel free to chat with me in the chat. I know I am a little quiet right now. It's because I'm so focused on this. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna find the stroke width and I'll add a stroke width expression that will retain the stroke width no matter the size of the object, which I already have here. I'm just gonna copy that expression. I don't need any of these. And I'll add it to the circle. Where is it? Here. And I'll also use the same pop-up. This guy. But actually, I want this to be like, oh. Oh, it's at 150. We don't want that. We want 100. Okay. And then I want this one to be here. Okay, try to use an alt and parent method to move this over here, but that doesn't work. And also this needs to be higher so that this has space to be here. Yeah, it's much smaller, so I'm gonna have to make this smaller and move it higher. And then I need these three, and I'll make them like purple or something. And put them on the other side. And I think I'll put these outlines below instead of above the circles. So first it's this one and this one. So I'll just move these two, these four out of the way for now. And I can turn off the reference circles. So first this one pops up. Oh, it doesn't have the expression. I want these to have the expression as well, not just the keyframes. And then as outline. And I've got the keyframes here. already set up. And then, oh, it's the wrong one. What? Oh no, moved. I colored in the wrong ones. Ah! Okay, anyway. It's like this, then that. Then we've got the next one, which I think should be this. Nope. This, which should be blue, not purple. Then we've got this one, which also has some keyframes already set up here. Hello! Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. This is the wrong one. Why is this the wrong one? It should be the right one. This one. There's a question from the chat. Are you a freelancer? I used to be a freelancer, but now I work full-time at an internal marketing company. So it's like marketing, but for large corporations that need marketing inside their own company. Oh. I didn't move this one over to the other side. That's so weird. Why did I do that? Huh. Okay, I guess this circle is in the wrong position then. Should be here. Ooh. I do not recognize your handle. Who are you? Amazing L24 or I24. Yes, oh, it's you. No, I do recognize your handle as such. I thought you were saying you were somebody else with a new handle. No, I've seen you around. Thanks for tuning in again. So something like this. Only that this is in the wrong position. So let's move it up a little bit more and make it a little smaller. You have joined motion design. Motion and T, you mean? You've done some courses. Okay. Very good. It's always good to learn more. You're never finished. You're never finished learning. And I think I'll need to move this one up a little bit as well. Maybe when this moves over, I can put this down so it doesn't interfere with the mailbox tab. Okay, copy V and reverse keyframes. Okay, and now this needs to be going on until he says various combination of various techniques. Let's see when that is.
Retain access even if one gets discovered and cleaned up. Now an attacker has a reliable access route into a system, they'll look to expand their level of access through a combination of various techniques.
So it needs to finish at this point. And it finishes way too soon. Ah. Okay, so basically we don't want this. I don't want this to ever go away. Well, actually I do want this to eventually go away. But I don't want... I want them to maybe go away at the same time, or like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames sooner. Yeah. And maybe at the same time we do the out animation of, let's go this guy. So this is the out animation where we will start removing this. And the mailbox. How does the mailbox arrive? Ah, it comes in from the side. Yeah, I think we can do it the same way. Scale 60 0. So this needs to be like here then. Oh, this is probably shorter. wait. Okay, got the timing. Oh, okay, there's some weird enlarging going on. This should be at 100, 100. Then this should be 110, okay. And this needs to be much, much longer, this. Let's wait for this to actually finish, and then I'll stagger this a little bit more. I always forget how this works. Oops, no. Ah. Hmm. Don't understand how this is supposed to work. You have a sub error, Takayuki. I'm not sure what that means. If you could explain, I can help you. Stagger. Stagger and sequence the same? Okay. I always forget how the stupid rift works. 50 frames. This is what I want. Now it's doing what I want. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, let's see. Was that enough time to fill? No! It needs to be at least until about here, I guess.
Level of access through a combination of various techniques.
So at least about until about here. Which means I really need to drag this out. Okay. Okay. Now we should be filling this time appropriately. But I am playing the out too soon. The out should be here. Now we have to retime everything. Ah! Okay. Out is here. This is here. This is here.
Techniques. One common theme in various techniques. One common theme. One common theme.
This is where scene 10 will be. And now this needs to be on all of these as well. So So, almost there. Okay. Now I need to move them forward so they actually finish at this point. Okay. Oh yeah, the lines need to go as well. So let's bring back this, copy paste, reverse keyframes, and same with that one, copy paste, reverse keyframes. Actually, this should probably start earlier. Okay. Now we've got a very nice, smooth out animation. Okay, let's look at that.
Be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code.
So unfortunately this scene is quite long because I designed it wrongly.
A significant amount of risk of discovery.
Didn't add enough graphics in this scene.
An innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that it's easier to run code again or regain access to a compromised system at a later date. More advanced attackers are likely to configure multiple different methods of persistence so that they can retain access even if one gets discovered and cleaned up. Now an attacker has a reliable access route into a system, they'll look to expand their level of access through a combination of various techniques. One common theme be applied. The next obvious step is execution, which involves running some malicious code on a targeted system. The techniques used in this early stage of an attack may have involved a significant amount of risk of discovery, or perhaps relied on tricking an innocent user into doing something they shouldn't. So a common next step is to then establish a more reliable method of persistence, so that it's easier to run code again or regain access to a compromised system at a later date. More advanced attackers are likely to configure multiple different methods of persistence so that they can retain access even if one gets discovered and cleaned up. Now an attacker has a reliable access route into a system, they'll look to expand their level of access through a combination of various techniques. One common theme can be applied. The next obvious...
Yay! Okay. That's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's animation session. Do join me again not next week, in 2 weeks' time. Again on the Tuesday, and we'll continue animating this animation, which still has got quite a bit to go. So there's still 5 minutes of this to animate, and so far only 2 minutes have been animated. So Andy might have to wait for this animation for quite some time before it's finished. Although we do have quite a few frames like pre-animated, so to speak, but there is definitely at least one section which is relatively complicated. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. If you're excited to find out how this is going to go and what the final stages of this animation are going to be, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified every time I go live and every time that there's a video available. Make sure to click the bell icon to actually get all of the notifications. And if you like this content, consider giving it a like and supporting me. If you'd like to support me on a monetary level, I do have a Patreon where I share project files, expressions, and scripts, and you can also see the full replays of the Motion and Tea live chat, where I chat with motion designers. And you can also buy me a coffee or buy me a tea on buymeacoffee.com or ko-fi.com. All of those are /SoniaMGFX, also Patreon /SoniaMGFX. And I hope to see you next time. Bye!